Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate,
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified.
well, you have like the icebreaker of all icebreakers today.
I do. I do. I am out on my sun porch because I got a new little angel yesterday.
He
My
looks like a
little
straight
man.
up teddy bear.
He is a teddy bear, but he is also a lot of work so far in the last 24
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
So I am hoping that he's a good boy during his first podcast.
We'll see.
We'll
Our
see.
third dog co-host. I have two with me right now.
Okay. All right. Yours
Yeah.
are
Who knows what's gonna happen?
yours are older than 9 weeks. So I hope that
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
just
he's popping his little head up.
he's like, what is going on?
He's like,
He's
what does my dad do? What is he
yeah.
doing?
He already took a nap on my lap once today, so I'm hoping that he
Yeah.
takes a nap on my lap now
Again.
because
Yeah.
he did last night.
Well, hopefully our soothing conversation just really puts him to sleep.
He can only hear me because I don't know how to
That's
work the
true.
audio and visual aspect of all of this, but we're just gonna roll with that.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna roll with that. So, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
I had some coffee so that I would be nice and awake, and it worked well. I'm
That's all
ready.
we can hope for. I had 2 cups of coffee today
Yeah,
because we are crate
it's just
training,
necessary.
and
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand the sound of a puppy crying and screaming.
It's
It
so
breaks my
sad.
heart.
It's so sad.
So it's like a kid. I'm like, what happened? It's like a puppy. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh my God, I'm coming to save you.
you know, I couldn't.
So
We crate trained when then we would leave, and then realize like they were fine, but we didn't even try with sleeping. So now I have a little bud who sleeps under my weighted blanket with me.
well, hopefully
But I love it.
he learns to just chill. He's super pumped right now.
Yeah,
but
that's how it goes.
but I love your idea for tonight's episode.
Yes.
So
So, important question. Have you seen part three of the Vanderpump Rules reunion?
do not. I
Cool.
might watch it after this.
Yeah.
Um,
I woke
I'm
up early and
just
watched it today.
I didn't even get to take a nap on my lunch break. Like being a single dad.
It's not for the weak.
So we're doing this thing where we like let him out every like 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I let him out at midnight last night, which made him cry hysterically when I put him in his crate.
Oh,
So I probably didn't fall asleep until like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then
oh,
my dad got up at 3:30 and let him out, and he cried at 4 o'clock. So I woke up at 4 and I woke up at 7:30.
poor puppy.
So
And
he's
you.
just now he's chewing on a shoe. But you know what?
He's living his best life.
At this point today, just I guess we just let him.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we just let him.
Nothing wrong with that.
I brought out his llama.
Whoa. One of my dreams 2 nights ago was really random, and we came home, and in our backyard there were like 10 pit bull puppies and a llama and like a golden retriever, and we were like, where did all of these come from? And I don't know the last time I talked about a llama, so that's kind of
Yeah.
trippy.
Yep. I went yesterday and I was like, do you think he's ready to come home? And they said he can come home tonight, but I had like nothing. Like I was like, I'm gonna go see him, but then I fell in love with him and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't have him not living with me one
Yeah.
single day. So
Yeah.
off we went to the dollar store and got him a couple of toys, but tomorrow's the big shopping day. So
Yeah. To really get everything.
yeah, yeah, to really get everything. And hopefully tonight goes better crate training because
No.
I took care of him and like watched him while I was working. Luckily, he like slept on my lap at work for like an hour.
Mhm.
And my parents got to take like a 2 hour nap. And then, like, because everybody's just waking up with him. And so after that, I was like, okay, it's my turn. And they just did not watch him as carefully as I did. They were like, puppy's
Oh.
gonna pop, you know?
Oh.
So
That's
I was like, okay, well, we'll see what we can do here. So
yeah.
single dad with a podcast.
Single dad with a podcast life.
Yep.
My puppy
We'll
is angry breathing at me, so we'll see how that goes.
see. We'll see what happens. Whose dog will
Yeah.
disrupt tonight?
Yeah. But I was watching part 3 of the
Mm-hmm.
reunion and I was like, oh, the scandal of it all. And then I was like, I bet we have some books that could give Scandival a run for its money.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about scandalous books.
Yes. Yeah. Some of mine are like scandalous, but I liked that we discussed this. I mean, we usually discuss our topics ahead of time, but I like that we discussed this one with like specifics because
Mhm.
mine also, I mean, including Scandival here, mine also include like shitty people who do shitty
Mhm.
things or
Yeah,
just general shitty things that can happen to people that hopefully you will only find in a book and not have to experience, like
for real.
Ariana or any of the characters in this book.
For real. I mean, I don't, who knows if you can really get more scandalous than sleeping with your best friend's husband,
Uh-oh.
but we're going to try.
Yes, we're going to try.
Mm-hmm.
Adobe. I don't need a PDF every time I record the podcast. I don't know why it's always when we do the
It's like,
podcast.
hey.
So,
Yeah.
all right. How many did you pick?
5.
Okay, good. Me too.
Mm-hmm. You
All
want me to
right.
go first?
Yeah, kick it off. It's your brilliant idea, Kate the Great.
Brilliant.
So,
So this one, I actually have my physical copy. So it's
yes.
kind of a first for me because as you guys know, I'm a Kindle girly, but
Hmm.
I interviewed the author of The Whispers, is what I'm holding up for our audio people, by Ashley Audrain. So I got a physical copy in the mail a couple weeks ago, and that was super exciting. Um, but it is about my internet is not loading, so good thing I have the physical copy right here.
Yeah.
um so on Harlow Street, the well-to-do neighborhood couples and their children gather for a barbecue as the summer winds down. Everything is fabulous until Whitney, the picture-perfect hostess, explodes in fury because her son disobeys her. Everyone at the party hears her exquisite veneer crack loud and clear. Before long, that same young boy falls from his bedside window in the middle of the night. And then his mother can only sit by her son's hospital bed where his life hangs in the balance. Over the course of a tense 3 days, the women of the neighborhood grapple with what led to that terrible night. People pleasing Blair, Whitney's best friend, suspects something isn't as it seems. Rebecca, the ER doctor who helps treat Whitney's son, has struggled to have a child of her own. And the all knowing Mara, the older woman next door, watches everybody's world unravel from her front porch, exploring envy, women's friendships, desire, and the intuitions that we silence. It is like a messy, like an extra messy Leanne Moriarty book,
Yes,
as you
that
pointed
is
out.
perfect. I like well, I mean, I said this to you, but like I was like, I
Uh-huh.
like the comparison to Leanne Moriarty because it's kind of one of those
Yeah.
things that as you read with like all of these characters, like things really do start to unravel.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a lot messier.
It's so messy and it's so good. And the characters are, I just loved how real all of the characters felt. They're like four perspectives. Yeah, four perspectives. And they all
Yeah,
feel really distinct.
so good.
Hmm.
That's such a good
And
one. I love that
my
one.
interview with her will be out next Tuesday on Between the Lines.
Woohoo!
If
Hmm.
anyone is looking to talk spoilers about the book, but also most of the interview is not spoilers.
That is the Kate the Great version of See You
Yeah.
Next Tuesday. If we
Yeah.
want to really connect everything tonight.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I love that.
Well, I have one that I need to kick it off with
Yeah.
because mine involves a reality show.
Nice.
So I am going to, and it's my girl, Jessica Knoll.
Yep.
So I'm going to talk about The Favorite Sister
Mm-hmm.
by Jessica Knoll, which is about a reality television show called The Goal Diggers,
Mm-hmm.
um, involving Brett and Kelly, who have always kind of, flirted with the idea of either being supportive sisters or arch nemesis. Brett was always the problem child, and like Kelly was like the perfect daughter. Um, but in adulthood, everything kind of changed. Kelly's a struggling single mother, and Brett has skyrocketed into huge success throughout the reality television show Gold Diggers. But then Kelly gets a little jelly belly of the success of Brett and manipulates her way onto the show, which obviously that sibling rivalry will kind of get a lot worse. Um,
Yes.
because Kelly and only Kelly knows Brett's secret and it could ruin her. So when the truth comes out about Brett in the finale weekend of filming, it erupts in murder.
Murder.
Murphy. Murphy and murder, people.
Murphy. Oh, he's
He's
so
just
cute.
been a little angel today, but now he's like, okay, I was good today, so let's be bad at night.
Uh-huh. Let's hang. Let's hang,
Let's
Dad.
hang. Let's hang. Let's do things. I started reading after work and like he
Mm-hmm.
laid on my lap in the chair and was just like super
Oh,
cool.
good.
But now he's just like,
He's putting on a show.
isn't this what reality TV is all about?
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna give you a little kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
As you
can't
choose
believe
my
I
life apart.
still have not read that book.
Oh my God, it's so good. There's some
I
like
know.
really good like social commentary on
Yeah.
like reality TV and like kind of the like horrible people that you'll find on
Yeah.
it, which
Mm-hmm.
is why like I immediately thought of this. And it does involve a scandal
Yeah.
because you have like sibling rivalry, but you
Oh
also have
yeah.
like it'd be kind of like who can I say? I mean, I guess the biggest shining star in Vanderpump Rules right now is Ariana.
Mm-hmm.
So it
I
would
was
kind of
just
be like Lala being Ariana's sister and coming on and being like, "Oh,
yeah.
here's everything that like Ariana's been preaching about being real on television."
Mm-hmm.
And then just being like, "Here's her big secret that she's been keeping from all of
Right.
you guys. Like, she's a liar."
Yeah. It's kind of Melissa and Teresa coded.
Yeah.
Like
But
they're not
like,
completely related, but Teresa holds on to this like she just got on because I was on.
yes. Yeah. And like Kelly is like, no shame in my game. Like, you're damn right I did, brat.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got to bump it up on my list. I just have so many neck alleys that I need to read. So I'm gonna be reading those like all summer.
Yeah. I have like a
But
lot I have a lot I need to read
yeah.
in June before my vacation starts because I have a feeling something is going to keep me very busy on my week off.
Nice.
this little monster right here.
You meant a puppy.
I'm in a puppy. I have a huge TBR for my vacation as well because I
Mhm.
like to do that. But I met this
Yeah.
little guy right here. I'm kind of like learning in the past 24 hours about the whole like, when they say you have a baby and you're like, sleep when the baby sleeps,
Yep.
like do your dishes, do your laundry, shower
Yeah.
like when your baby is asleep. But
Yeah.
my baby just likes to sleep on me unless I'm recording a podcast, and then he's just all about chewing
He's
on
awake
everything.
and he loves your headphones.
Yeah, he's like, I am
He
awake and I'm pumped
loves
for
them.
this.
Oh, that's cute. Well, we'll keep it moving. We'll keep it
Yeah.
moving along here so Murph Dog can have his time with you. Um my next
He's
one,
gonna pass out as soon as we're done recording.
you
Guarantee
know
it.
he will.
Yeah,
Like
he's gonna be like, oh my
right
God, that was
after.
exhausting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Put in
Yeah.
8 hours at an office job.
You're like, whoosh, whoosh, Dad,
Yeah.
that was a long day.
God. Yeah.
He's like, I'm just a
Thir-
baby.
Thursdays are a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just a baby.
That's Bruce's energy. um, but my next one is Made for Love by Alyssa Nutting. This one is scandalous, but also like very like toxic relationship, gaslighty vibes.
Ooh.
So that's
Sign
where
me
this
up.
guy really, really connects to Scandival. So
You're so
Hazel
good at
has just
this.
moved. What?
You're so good at this. I'm so jealous. Like every time we
I
have a topic, I'm like, jar of hearts, go inside.
I think it's been a couple weeks since you said Jar of Hearts. Maybe.
I know, which is funny because there's another topic that we were talking about today that we're gonna have in the
Uh-huh.
future. And like my
Yes.
first instinct was, oh, jar of hearts, but maybe it'll
Something
be something
else.
different.
um okay. So Made for Love
Hmm.
is about Hazel. Hazel has just moved into a trailer park of senior citizens with her father and Diane, his sex doll companion. Life with Hazel's father is strained at best, but it's got to be better than her marriage to dominating tech billionaire Brian Gogol. For over a decade, Hazel has been quarantining in Byron's family compound, her every movement and vital sign tracked. So when Byron demands to wirelessly connect the two of them via brain chips, turning Hazel into a human guinea pig, she makes a run for it. Will Hazel be able to free herself from Byron's virtual clutches before he finds her? So he also installs it in her head without her knowing that he's about to just have access to all of her thoughts and what she sees.
Jesus.
So like next level manipulative and controlling. And it's like this book is like the craziest mashup of sci-fi and like quirky humor and also a thriller, a kind of like tech thriller. It's very unique, but it's also a show on HBO. So
Oh, it is?
it has 2 seasons. The third one is in production, I think.
I hope it's better in production than Euphoria.
Oh, for real.
Third season to come out in 2025, like the 10-year high school reunion.
Like finally.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh my God.
Hmm.
As they enter the retirement home.
Yeah. Yeah.
For season 4. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I love too, like not only how much you love sci-fi, but I also
Hmm.
love how much you find like sci-fi that are like it's almost like sci-fi for beginners, if you
Yeah.
will. Like
I would agree.
not in the sense of like easy reading, but in the sense of
Hmm.
like if you like thrillers, if you like other
Yeah.
genres, like this isn't like heavy on the sci-fi aspect, but it's
Right.
like in there to kind of like
It's like a
coincide
setting,
with your other
kind of.
favorite
Like it's like,
genres. Talk with my
yeah,
voice.
like I kind of enjoy a sci-fi setting. I'm actually reading an arc that I have called The Deep Sky right now, and it's sci-fi, and I'm really enjoying it. So feeling
Hmm.
positive about that. It's about a girl who is a part of a crew on a spaceship, the Phoenix, that's like traveling to a whole other planet. And for like the first 10 years, they're like frozen asleep. And then they wake up. And then they're awake for 10 years and then they get put back to sleep for another 10 years and then arrive at the planet. But in the time that they're awake,
Cover is
an
beautiful.
explosion happens, and basically then everyone is a suspect, and it's kind of like a locked room space thriller.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm really
Amazing.
enjoying it.
I don't even like sci-fi that much, but that one
Mm-hmm.
sounds like
Yeah.
sci-fi Agatha Christie.
Yes. Yeah.
That'll be a
It's a lot
winner.
like that with like social commentary, like very feminist by Yume Kitase is
Okay.
my best guess. I apologize if I messed that up.
Better than I would have done.
Yeah.
Um, I love it. Well, since
Mhm.
you're gonna bring up your genre of choice, I guess I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
bring up my genre of choice, which is male romance.
You said that part so seriously.
But if you like dark thrillers and you're looking at a male romance, because what I'm finding on Bookstagram lately is that there are a ton of women who have accounts that only read and feature male romance, and I'm just like obsessed with
Yeah.
that. And it's like really funny because I always think of you when I see them, because I'm like, if Kate had more time on her hands,
Yeah.
she would have like this account, because I would get you hooked on so many. But
Yep.
if you like dark thrillers, very dark, I'm talking like graphic sex and graphic violence. So we're not just talking about steam and spice here. Um, I'm talking about the book Dysfunctional by Isabel Lucero,
Hmm.
which is a dark male romance about a man named Ezra Hamilton. What's happening?
Bruce is just digging aggressively behind me.
Oh, I can't
He's
even
like,
hear it.
okay, cool. He's
I
just
can't
like
even hear it.
going to town on the.
I was like, did my dog toot?
No, no. Mine's just freaking
To be
out,
honest with that.
spazzing out.
Um, Ezra Hamilton hasn't felt the warm spurt of blood flowing through his fingers or the feeling of pushing a knife deep into someone's flesh in a long time. He's been watching a man stalk women, curious as to what he's doing with them, and Ezra's never encountered someone with similar dark tendencies before. So, what starts off as a genuine curiosity turns into much more when Caspian turns the tables on Ezra. But as he turns the tables, their chemistry and mistrust build at the same time.
Can we just talk
Bum.
about the copywriter who wrote that first sentence of the synopsis that like captures the fact that it's steamy and violent? Because like when it says hasn't felt the feeling of warm, and you're like, ooh, what's it gonna be? And then they say blood. Like it really encapsulates the whole book. So props to whoever wrote that.
I've read like a couple of dark male romances where
Mm-hmm.
there's like 50 Shades of Grey kind of relationship or a stalker.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I really enjoyed about this one is you're like, oh, there's this dude named Ezra, and he hasn't felt like those warm and fuzzies of like stabbing somebody or having blood on his hands in a long time. And
Yeah.
then you're like, and then there's a guy named Caspian who he thinks is a serial killer. And like Caspian is like, there's this dangerous man following me. So if I am doing something bad, I should probably stop. But playing mind games with him at the same time that our like
Yes.
sexual attraction to one another is like
Yes.
skyrocketing.
Ooh.
It was so good. It was so good. I got it on Kindle Unlimited because my girl signed me up for Kindle Unlimited. Um,
Yes.
and by my girl, I mean you, obviously.
I
To
know.
anybody who
I
didn't
was having a
like,
hiccup. That's why it
I don't,
sounded weird.
well, I didn't want anyone to be like, oh, he's a new dog dad and a
As
heterosexual. Like,
another
no,
girl.
that's not happening. Yes, no, I don't have another
That's
girl.
funny.
Kate is my main girl.
Hannah and Paige have a joke about that on Giggly Squad. Like
It makes
the
sense.
Paige is always like, "You have other friends."
We all know that's not true. I have a handful of friends that I talk
Yep.
to, but I don't talk to them as much as I talk to like you.
Yeah.
You, my friend Nicole,
Same.
and Cindy, like the trifecta.
Yep. I've got you and Tyler and my friend Jody, and
I
I'm
was like,
content.
yeah, I was like sleep deprived and like starving. I had 5 sweet potato fries for like the whole day
Oh,
because being
that
a
is
dog
not
dad,
enough.
I'm gonna be so fucking skinny. Oh my god, don't even get
Yeah,
me
you
started.
might be.
I'm gonna be like next week when you guys see me, I'm gonna be like,
We're
Olsen.
gonna be like Ozempic.
Some say Ozempic, some say Olsen twin. That's what I am. I'm on the dog dad diet
Yes.
whole life. Um, but yeah, Dysfunctional, so good. Like my girl
Hmm.
Kate the Great signed me up for Kindle Unlimited. It was one of my picks. Loved it so much I immediately got a physical copy of it.
Love it. It sounds
So
so good.
it's so good, so twisty. There's like twists and
It's
turns
kind of like
everywhere.
Double Dexter's.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like Dexter chasing after like Scarlet from They Never Learn,
Yeah,
but with male on male action.
right. That's quite the combo.
And I love like Caspian, like you don't know if he's a serial killer or if he's responsible for these women going missing.
Oh,
It's just like Ezra's like, I have all of these dark desires, so I think that I can see them in other people, or I think I can see
mm-hmm.
them in Caspian because he's got to have what I have, basically, because I've never seen it in anybody else. So you don't really know if
Yeah,
Caspian is responsible or if he is as to why he would be.
that's cool.
But the fact that Caspian decides to turn the tables on Ezra, even like if he is or isn't guilty of this, is just kind of
Hmm.
like two dangerous people,
Yeah,
hot sex. Like there's nothing vanilla in this book when it comes to
it doesn't sound like it.
the gettings on and the gettings on.
That's our new like meter for Steam.
Yes.
I love that. Well, I have one that's about complicated relationships. That's my best segue
I
here.
mean, honestly, that's the perfect segue because
That's gonna be all of them.
their relationship is very complicated, as I'm sure everybody can guess.
Yeah. Mine or my next one is More Than You'll Ever Know by Katie Gutierrez. So it's about Laura Rivera was married to 2 men at once until on a hot day in 1986, one of them found out and shot the other. A secret double life, a tragic murder. That's the story the world knows. It's not the story that fascinates Cassie Bowman. Carrying the weight of her own family tragedy, true crime writer Cassie wants to know more about the mysterious woman at the heart of it all, Lore. How did one woman fall in love with two different men? How did she balance the love and the lies? To her surprise, Cassie finds that Laura is willing to talk, to finally tell her heartbreaking story and how a dance became an affair, how a marriage became a murder. As the two women grow closer, Cassie finds she can't help but confess her own darkest secrets. But when she slowly starts to realize that there might be more to the murder than anyone has realized, can either woman face up to the thing they've been hiding from? The truth.
You are so fucking good at this. Because
Maybe I read a
I,
lot of scandalous books.
no, it's not even that you're reading scandalous books, it's that you're taking these genres and you're taking
Mm-hmm.
like our topic, but you're
Mm-hmm.
picking like not just your typical scandalous books. You know what I mean? Like,
I was kind of proud of my list when I saw it. I was like, it's kind of a wide range of stories.
yeah, no, you absolutely are crushing it. That's
So like
such a good
hopefully
pick. I'm
someone
so
just
pissed
someone
I
might
didn't
like
pick
any
that.
of them. Yeah.
I'm so pissed I
I
didn't pick
loved
that.
that one. It is longer. It's 435 pages,
Mm-hmm.
so read it when you're in a longer mood. But I would almost say like if you're especially if you're someone who kind of likes when there's just a little bit of women's fiction in your psychological thriller, that's kind of the vibe of that one. It leans a little
Yeah.
bit more toward that.
I think the thing too is that like the thing that's really like interesting with that story is that if you like
Hmm.
family drama,
Yeah.
there's two of them. Well, technically
Hmm.
three if you include Cassie,
Yeah.
so it's
She
got
has her
that
own
family
stuff. Yeah.
drama aspect to it. So,
Yeah. And multi-generational. I have been enjoying
mhm.
more books that are multi-generational.
Damn. Now I don't know. Well, okay. All right. I'm going to go with a little scandal here
Yeah.
involving murder. Instead of two men, we're going to go with two women.
Ooh.
Okay. So I've got Her Pretty Face by Robin Harding, which is scandalous because there was actually a real life scandal with this book. And I don't know if a lot of people know that.
I
But
did
Robin
not.
Harding is a Canadian author. And
Hmm.
this book is loosely based on the Barbie and Ken killers,
Whoa.
which involves the case of Carla Homolka in Canada. She and her
Hmm.
boyfriend were basically accused of murdering, well, sexually assaulting, raping,
Hmm.
murdering a bunch of women in Canada in the 90s. And when they were caught, Carla was like, I'm a victim just as much as they were. Like, he forced me to do these things. I
Oh.
was, a victim of his as well because I feared for my life, blah, 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 blah. But
Hmm.
you know what else happened in the 90s? Video cameras.
Okay. I was like,
So
what else?
Paul was a huge person that loved having a video camera in your face. Parties,
Ah.
family events, stuff like that. Well, obviously, they're crimes if he loves video cameras. They taped their crimes. And then when the tapes came out, people were just kind of like, she was a lot more of a willing participant than she let on.
Wow.
Yes, there's an excellent thank you to my friend Cindy for recommending it to me. I knew about the
Yeah.
Carla Homolka case
Hmm.
because of being so close to Canada. Because the thing is
Yeah.
that Carla Homolka is out in
Hmm.
society, and nobody, like, she could be your friend's, like, mother. Like, she's out in society, probably a soccer mom, just living her
Wow.
life. So because there are a lot of angry people out there, this book was a little controversial because Robin Harding's Canadian.
Ooh.
A lot of her Canadian
Yeah.
fans were kind of like, but it's a story to tell, and it's a story
Right.
that people should know about because it is scary when
Yeah.
have people who are manipulative.
Yeah.
So this one is basically about a woman named Frances who's a stay-at-home mom. Her troubled son is her full-time job. She thought that the day that he got into this elite academy would be the day that she could kind of start living her own life. Um, and she's just desperate to like fit in with the other moms from this academy. But a disturbing incident at the school leads the other children and their families to ostracize her, and she feels more alone than ever before until she meets like drop dead beautiful, rich, powerful, confident Kate Randolph. And Frances is kind of taken back by the fact that Kate wants to be her friend. I mean, everybody and their like mother should have a friend named Kate. I highly
Well,
recommend.
of course.
But the thing is with this friendship is that one of the two women is hiding a very dangerous secret related to their past. And you don't know which one it be.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta
Mm-hmm.
read it.
Her Pretty Face by Robin Harding. Such a good book. Such a good book. It's one of my favorite reading experiences with her
Nice.
because it was just, I want to say it's her second thriller. Her first one was
Hmm.
called The Party, and it was like
Hmm.
more women's fiction, family drama kind of thing like that. But
Hmm.
because it involved like this young group of teenage girls, it kind of reminded me of like a cross between like a book that not isn't just necessarily like women's fiction or a
Hmm.
thriller, but like something that a woman and her daughter could read, if that makes sense, because there wasn't anything
Oh,
horrible in
yeah.
it. that it
Mhm.
could be like for young adult readers. But
Yeah.
with this one, it was like, that one was like twisty and really good.
Mhm.
But for Her Pretty Face to be her second book, I was like, wow, like you really kind of went dark with this.
Wow.
So Her
The
Pretty Face,
cover
Robin
is so
Harding.
cool too.
Oh my God. One of my favorite Bookstagram pictures that I ever took was with that cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I could
it's
see
such
that.
a good book.
Well, my next one has a really cool cover. And it is Stone Cold Fox by Rachel Collar Croft.
Love it.
So it's like this neon green text. You will all know when you look at it. Um, but it is about B, and basically after spending most of her life being forced to swindle men with her mother, she just wants to escape that life, completely leave it, and like never have to go back to doing something like that. So she picks her mark, and it is a really wealthy man child, basically named Colin. And so he's definitely in love with her, but she's gonna have to win over his family because it's like very old money and they're fancy and picky and all of those things.
Yeah.
And his friend Gail, like childhood friend, is wishes she could be with Colin. So she is trying everything she can to get B to leave. And so things just keep escalating as things escalate between B and Gail. And
Yeah.
it's so fun. It's just
So
a really
fun.
fun
So
con
good.
thriller.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see what she does next. And I
I
just
know,
love
me
that
too.
cover.
Yeah.
One
So
of my favorite color combinations is like a neon green and
mm-hmm.
beige.
Yeah.
Like what
That
a
is
just
all of this
gorgeous.
cover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that cover. And that's such a good book.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
told you,
so
you're crushing it.
thanks.
Absolutely crushing it.
It was a good topic.
It was a good topic. I, okay, my next one, I kind of like really reached with this one,
Mm,
but mine involves a really shitty man,
that'll do
a
it.
scandal,
Mm,
but it involves the media as well because
mm,
when Scandival broke, it's all over the media and people are like, oh my god, why is Vanderpump Rules in the New York Times and like the View
mm.
and like all this other stuff, and it's like, because honey bun, this is like the
It's that
most
big of a
intense
deal.
thing in the entire world,
It's insane.
and it's nuts. And I just like don't I also like don't agree with
Not letting him speak.
I don't agree with um how do I say it? I don't agree with the people that are like, oh, like everybody in that cast has like done shitty things in their 20s.
Oh, yeah.
I just
He's not in his 20s. Just to begin with, there's that. Second, it wasn't a one time. Second, I put up one finger. Second, it wasn't a one time thing. All of the things he brings up to everyone else are one time things where they felt bad and it got dealt with. Like,
yeah.
this took planning and lying,
Mm-hmm.
and they continued lying in the reunion. Like, that is what makes it so much worse than like anyone who's ever like cheated once. It's such a different thing. And it sounds like it was going on for a very long time. Like, that's a lot of planning.
I mean, I'm not proud of this. I've
Mhm.
definitely been in a situation where I've done something really shitty that I'm not proud of when it
Mhm.
comes to hooking up with people when I'm drinking.
Mhm.
Um, but it's kind of one of those things where like the first time it happened, I was like, okay, that was not a good idea. Like, get
Yeah.
yourself together. The second time, you're just kind of like, okay, this is obviously something I need to work on. You know what I mean? Because like shit
Yeah.
happens. Can't beat yourself up over something that happens one time, but like when it happens
Right.
like a second time, whether it's like with the same person or not, you could just
Yeah.
do like something else that's shitty.
Mm-hmm.
You're just kind of like, okay, like these are some things I need to work on myself. And like
Mm-hmm.
the anxiety that comes with something like
That's
that.
what I would think.
Oh my God. Ugh,
I
I have
can't
never
imagine.
in my life been so happy to be boring.
Exactly. His and Raquel's face, Raquel, or their faces are just blank. They don't look like it caused them too much anxiety
The thing that I hate about him is that he is so defensive when people call him out.
on
And
anything, things that
I'm
don't
like,
matter.
you can't be really defensive with this dude. Like
No.
you did this. Like you got to deal
Yeah.
with the repercussions. And it like is one
Yes.
of those things where like it does affect other people.
Yeah.
Um, but
A
yeah.
lot.
Hmm.
A lot of
Yeah.
other people. And they're like, they're calling us pathological liars, but this is the only thing we've lied about. And you're like, yeah, and you lied about it for like 9 months. That's a little
Yeah.
pathological.
Have
They just
you
say the craziest stuff.
have you seen like the instead of saying armchair detectives, oops, instead of saying armchair detectives, I'm gonna say like armchair like mental health specialists and everything, where all these people are
Uh-huh.
diagnosing her as saying that like they think that she's on the spectrum.
I have seen some people saying that, and I'm like, I don't think that's what's going on here. If anything, she makes me think she's on like a beta blocker, the stuff that like celebs will take when they are in like really terrifying situations, and it
Mm-hmm.
just like the adrenaline doesn't surge and you're just like
Stoic.
blank. I think being on the spectrum, you would not, in my armchair mental health opinion, you wouldn't be seeking out being on the show that way. I think it would be a lot.
I just think when people say that, it's kind of one of those things where like to my knowledge, not everybody
Mm-hmm.
who is on the spectrum has situations where they completely lack empathy.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's been like a
yeah,
lot of
that's a hard part.
arguments. And I was like, I would think that, I mean, I'm not a mental health specialist. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not like anybody who knows, the ins and outs of
Right.
autism and things like that. But like, I just don't like when people say that because I think that it like creates a bad name for people who are on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
also like, don't make excuses for somebody
I know.
because I think it's like a little bit different than if she only did it once and she carried on an affair for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's the big difference in all of it.
yeah,
Whoop.
I just sent you a
Sorry, I just
pic.
kicked my dog.
I just sent you a pic. I
You
think we're
sent me
good.
a
I think we're good for the rest of the episode.
I thought he was being nice and quiet.
Passed out.
Harley's
Passed.
passed out on my feet. So if anyone keeps hearing me go, oop, it's because I keep accidentally kicking her.
If I go oop, it's because he has like long legs and
Uh-huh.
he's like curled up on me, but one leg keeps like slipping and falling, and I don't want it to wake him up.
Oh,
So
that's adorable.
that was a very long tangent that I went on about Vanderpump Rules
Yeah.
and the media and stuff. But
Yeah.
my pick is about a shitty man, the media,
Oh yeah.
and a scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I don't know if this is out yet. It might be, I think it's the 13th. It could be the 20th of June. But
Okay.
either way, by the time this comes out, people won't have to wait too long. Good time to pre-order.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Don't Forget the Girl by Rebecca McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of is okay. So 12 years ago, an 18-year-old girl named Abby Hartman disappeared. And now John Allen Blue, the serial killer suspected of her murder, is about to be executed. Um, with this happening, her two best friends, Bree and Chelsea, um, they kind of see how Abby's memory is unearthed and like overshadowed by this man who was a serial killer and did all of these horrible things. and they were estranged. So now they're kind of like putting their differences aside, I guess, to kind of be there for one another, because like no one knows what they're going through like one another, obviously.
Right.
Um, because a high profile podcast dedicates its next season to his murders. So the reason I picked this is because obviously the shitty man is the serial killer. Um,
Yeah.
and the thing that I always take into effect when it comes to true crime
Mm-hmm.
is it's one thing if you watch something like the movie Zodiac, right?
Yep.
It's one thing if you watch Zac Efron play Ted Bundy and you're like, oh my God, that was so good. But when people are doing podcasts, I really respect people like Ashley Flowers and Crime Junkie,
Mm-hmm.
because I think when you do a podcast, when you do a documentary about a serial killer, like you need to paint a portrait as to what their
Mm-hmm.
victims are like as well, because there's that age old question of people kind of saying this with, you can always talk about Ted Bundy and everybody knows who he is, but nobody
Mm-hmm.
can really name any of his victims,
Yeah.
and it's kind of, I mean, it's very true when it comes to high profile serial killers and things like that, where you're having
Yeah.
like the Zodiac killer, um, who was never caught, like the Golden State Killer, everybody talks about
Right.
how he was caught and how long ago, but that's why I picked this, because I think that's something that is a big media scandal.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my pick, because
Yeah.
I think, I really respect a lot of documentarians, is that what they're called?
Documentarians. Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. Well, I knew it then.
Yeah.
I really respect them when they're like, here is Garrett Billings. He had, a dog and a best friend named Kate and like two like parents, and like his favorite thing to do is like chill at home and read. And I really respect that when like you
Yeah.
talk about the victims, which is why I love some of the crime fiction books that have taken that whole, you can name the killer, but can you name any of their victims? And they've turned
Mm-hmm.
that into like a plot point, like These Women by
Mm-hmm.
Ivy Pachoda,
Mm-hmm.
very much
Yeah.
like that. Notes on an Execution does that
Yeah.
fantastic. Um, Real Easy by Marie Rakowski. And what's the last one I was thinking of? Please See Us by Caitlin Mullen.
There we go. Yeah.
Mhm. And I just want to say, if you heard a hitch in my voice while I was talking about Ted Bundy and his victims, I'm not laughing. Murphy's having a nightmare. So he's
Oh.
shaking and just kind of like whining a little bit. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
like wake him up to comfort him. But I also just want to make sure that my baby's okay, but I'm not laughing at anything like that. So if you heard a hitch in my voice,
Definitely not.
it was because he started to shake and was like,
Yeah.
oh
I
my
love a
God,
dog
I'm having a
dream.
nightmare about Ted Bundy.
Yeah, you scared him.
Yeah. So,
Another one that I almost included when you mentioned Ashley Flowers, I almost included All Good People Here because that one is definitely small town
mm-hmm.
scandal. So bonus recommendation.
Shout out to Ashley Flowers.
Yeah, that too.
She Her book is amazing. I love her book. And I know
It
for a
was
fact
good.
that she's writing a second one.
Nice. That's exciting.
Mhm.
Well, I'll talk about something less Ted Bundy so Murphy can fall back into happy dreams. Um, my last one is Look Closer by David Ellis because
Mhm.
I can't get away from recommending con books ever.
Mhm.
Um, but it's about Simon and Vicky. They seem like a really normal Chicago couple. And Simon's a law professor and she's an advocate for domestic violence victims. Um, but it's not what it seems, of course.
Of course.
They are far from normal, and one of them just may be a killer. So then the body of a beautiful socialite is found hanging in a mansion in a nearby suburb. And Simon and Vicky's secrets begin to unravel as that person is discovered. A secret whirlwind affair, a $20 million trust fund about to come due, a decades-long grudge, and obsession with revenge. These are just a few of the lies that make up the complex web, and they will have devastating consequences. And it is just twisty and fun and like a con. It's just one of the most impressive. It's one of the most complex con thrillers I've ever read.
It's so good. I will 100% agree with you on that.
I
I
loved it.
Yeah, I remember devouring that one in one day, and it's pretty
Yeah.
big. I think
It's
it's over
448 pages.
I was gonna say, I know it's over 400 pages,
Yeah.
but
It
I
was
devoured
long and
that.
it did not feel long. Yeah.
No, no, it was very hard to stop reading that one.
Mm-hmm. It is so fun.
Yes, yeah, that was a very good book. I'm interested to see too. He's like one of those authors that I'm interested to see like what his next one will be like. Is it
Yeah.
gonna be, like another, because like you said, it's like a con thriller, but it
Yeah.
also like is a whodunit,
Yep.
and it's also like a psychological thriller,
It is.
and it just like wraps up and includes a lot of things that
It does. I did not
oh,
realize how many books he has.
oh, he does.
He has been publishing since 2003. One,
Or
two,
for him.
three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like he has 10.
Damn.
So I'm gonna have to try one of these. One looks like one's a series, Jason Coleridge. We might have to try that.
Mm-hmm. I'd definitely be down to read more of his.
Yeah. It looks like it's a legal thriller. I know
I
he's a
do like a
lawyer.
legal
David
thriller.
Ellis is.
Oh, he is. Makes sense.
Yeah, the author's a
Makes sense.
lawyer. Mm-hmm.
That book was like a lot of very like intricate information when it came to like the plot.
Yes. Yes.
Not to spoil anything, but
Yeah. He was having to keep track of a lot of stuff.
yeah, yeah. Well, my last one
Mm-hmm.
is about shitty people and shitty things they do and the reasoning behind it and all of the fun
Mm-hmm.
things with Scandal without, I would say without hurting people, but that's not true. Um,
No.
but yeah, so this one is about like shitty people and shitty things
Mm-hmm.
and how the past is never really settled, we'll say, right?
Never.
Settled. Past is never really in the past.
Yes, there we go.
Um, I'm talking about the book. She started it by, I believe it's Sean Gilbert,
Mm-hmm.
but
I
it's
don't know.
Sian.
Yeah, it
I
seems like a English spelling of Sean.
yes. So it is about Annabelle, Esther, Tanya, and Chloe, who are the best of friends, or at least they were as children. Despite drifting apart in adulthood, shared secrets have kept them bonded for better or worse, even as their childhood dreams haven't quite turned out as they hoped. One day, they all receive a very unexpected, but not entirely unwelcome, invitation from another old friend. Poppy Greer has invited them to her extravagant bachelorette party, a first class plane ticket to 3 days of white sand, cocktails, and relaxation on a luxe private island in the Bahamas. But none of them have spoken to Poppy in years. So her Instagram pics show that like the girl they used to consider the weakest link in their group has definitely made like really good money and a good life for herself. But curiosity gets the better of them, and like who could turn down such a like luxurious vacation? Well, they should have.
Right.
The first class flight and the island's accommodations are just as opulent as expected, even if the scenic island proves more remote than they anticipated. There's no cell service and no other guests. The women quickly discover that they underestimated Poppy and each other. Their darkest secrets are revealed. The tropical adventure morphs into a terrifying nightmare. This one will keep you shocked until the very end.
I
So
can't
good.
wait to read that one.
So
It comes
good.
out on the 13th as well.
Hmm. Yeah, it's so good. It's
Very
one of my
soon.
favorites of the year.
Oh, I can't wait. I
Hmm.
love when I completely enjoy like an island or getaway thriller. Sometimes it's like it doesn't have enough of its own things going on, but I love it when there's tons of stuff happening.
Sometimes, I don't know how to say this. Sometimes I feel like the island is more of a character than the characters, right? Like
Exactly.
somebody who did it very well was Wendy Hurd
Yes.
with having the island not overshadow what's happening on the island or the
Yep.
characters. But
Yep.
sometimes it's like it almost reads more of like an adventure mystery or an adventure
Mm-hmm.
thriller because they're like, oh my god, we have to like fend for ourselves. Like this is not one of those. This is just like
Yeah.
a Agatha Christie inspired kind of like all of these
Yeah.
people are stuck
Mm-hmm.
on an island with somebody who's like, bet you wish you didn't come here. And now I'm realizing that should have been my segue when you talked about your like deep sky book.
Oh yeah. It was kind of just like a random like, hey,
Hmm.
here's what I'm reading.
If you don't want to go into space with people you shouldn't trust, but you want to go to an island, I recommend She Started It by Sean Gilbert.